evolution of the Jim Carrey movie. Jim Carrey, or Jim Carrey, whatever you like to say, Jim Carrey, rose to fame with In Living Colour, 1990, and SNL, most notably. There are so many good characters he's done, but this video will stretch through all his films because he's had a personal effect on my life. In the 1990s, he was my idol, along with Robin Williams, who I shall do a video about as well. His range is magnificent, his comedy is beyond anything we can imagine. He is lovable, hilarious Jim Carrey. Like always, this will try to focus on his movies rather than TV, but they still will be accounted for. Let's have fun, shall we? Before I get into the video, I have done The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, and Me, Myself and Irene specials on my radio shows, so if you are a fan, be sure to like my Facebook page to keep up to date with my movie specials and future videos as well. It really will make my day. Thank you so much. In the 1980s, Jim got his break working for The All Night Show, doing additional voices, impressions, and the like. It only ran for 1 year, which is a shame. 1981, he was in a TV movie introducing Janet. Most people know this as Rubberface. Big head, thin skin, numb skull was the tagline. A funny schoolgirl becomes friends with a stand-up comedian called Tony Marini, who is struggling with his career. Rubberface is perfect because he actually has that rubber face. The title alone gave me images of The Mask. All in Good Taste, 1983, was next. A filmmaker is upset to find that his wholesome script about an orphan and his dog has been warped into a film about strippers. Crazy, zany, surreal, it's often been called. Jim played Ralph. He's not in much of the movie, but it's basically a porn movie without sex. He made an appearance on Johnny Carson in 1983. He played various personalities in The Sex and Violence Family Hour. Bobby Todd in Copper Mountain. Two friends travel to a ski resort, with one looking to hit the slopes while the other spends time trying to pick up women. It stars the late Alan Thicke. He had fantastic Jerry Lewis impersonations in Buffalo Bill TV series before Finders Keepers in 1984. Richard Lester directed Finders Keepers. He's known for Superman 2 and 3, A Hard Day's Night, and The Three Musketeers. Jim's casted alongside Beverly D'Angelo and Michael O'Keefe. Characters on a train keep their eyes on a coffin containing $5 million stolen from an estate. Jim played character Lane Biddlecoff. Jim has to be taken out of town. He was in 13 episodes of The Duck Factory in 1984 as Skip. Skip is a young animator who's just started with a low-budget animation company that produces The Dippy Duck Show. As a new guy, Skip is often the brunt of office politics and has to deal with his own lack of confidence. Now we enter the realms of horror with Once Bitten, 1985, a vamp flick. The dance scenes in this are fantastic. We get to see the acting range with Jim, how he plays his leg as a guitar. We did mention this film in our Evolution of the Vampire movie too, so if you love vampires, be sure to check that out. A vampire countess needs to drink the blood of a virgin in order to keep her eternal beauty. It seems that all is hopeless until she bumps into Mark Kendall. Howard Storm directs. He's known for Mork and Mindy, Nano Nano. Next year, Peggy Sue got married. He was Walter Getz. Francis Ford Coppola directs, and I don't need to tell you how awesome Francis Ford Coppola is. Nick Cage, Kathleen Turner stars with Jim in this one. Peggy Sue faints at a high school reunion. When she wakes up, she finds herself in her own past, just before she finished school. Very Twilight Zone-esque. Even playing it straight, Jim Carrey got the laughs. He doo-wopped and danced in this picture, which you gotta love. The Deadpool, 1988. Not that Deadpool you may be thinking of, but a film starring Clint Eastwood. We all know how well Jim can do a Clint Eastwood impression, so maybe he got it from this movie. Dirty Harry Callahan must stop a sick secret contest to murder local celebrities, which includes himself as a target. Big names in this one, including Liam Neeson. Carrey plays Johnny Squares, a rock singer and a crazy, crazy person. That welcome to the jungle scene is just brilliant stuff. Next was Whiplock in Earth Girls Are Easy. Whiplock is the red alien, or the orange alien. Jeff Goldblum is the blue alien. Gina Davis is Valerie. And Damon Wayans is Zebo, the yellow alien. A Southern California girl befriends 3 fairy aliens after their spaceship lands in their swimming pool. Both Damon Wayans and Jim Carrey went to star in Living Colour a year later. Jim Carrey and Charles Rocket later appeared together in Dumb and Dumber as well. Earth Girls Are Easy. Do definitely check that out. I like how they do like a makeover on them as well, which is just fun. He popped up in Mike Hammer, Murder Takes All, before playing James Carrey as a lounge entertainer in Eastwood's Pink Cadillac. Reminiscent of his stand-up works. He played a dark character, Death, in High Strung, 1991. He actually played a limo driver. It's okay, I'm a limo driver. Which should remind you of Lloyd Christmas. Another TV movie, Doing Time on Maple Drive. He was an exterminator in a short film. 1994, a massive, massive year for Jim Carrey. Well, the 90s was his decade. He owned the 90s. I think he was the highest paid actor of the 90s as well. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, came on our screens. His look, the wavy brown hair, the flowery open shirt, the white vest, the lined pants, the boots, his attitude. Could have been a religion itself, really. It's laid back, it's cool. A goofy detective specialising in animals goes in search of the missing dolphin mascot of a football team. So many memorable scenes. William Shatner impression when he's pretending to be mad. Yeah, the slow motion American football star. Alrighty then. I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear. The talking ass. Finkel and Einhorn and Finkel. Smoking is a disgusting habit. You know, do not go in there. Woo! That's not Snowflake. That's not Snowflake. It's a generally terrifying part in the film, that when he falls into the water and he's looking. It's not Snowflake, it's a shark. It used to scare me when I was a kid. I'm sure I've missed one or two scenes here, so do tell me below if you've missed any of your personal favourite ones. It is a sensational film. It stars Courtney Cox, Dan Marino, Udo Kier. The director is Tom Shadyac, who worked close with Jim again in 2003 with Bruce Almighty. He also was a producer for Patch Adams. Ace Ventura compares Ray Finkel's room to Hannibal Lecter's prison cell from The Silence of the Lambs. 17 years later, inside the actor's studio, Jim Carrey recounted that he asked Anthony Hopkins to dinner and discovered that his approach to Ace Ventura was the same as Hopkins to Hannibal Lecter. They move like animals. Carrey based Ventura's movements on birds, and Hopkins based Lecter's movements on reptiles. Carrey confessed that Hopkins was becoming Hannibal Lecter right at the table. Generally love that idea as well. Metal band Cannibal Corpse make an appearance in this film too, another favourite scene of mine. But it had always been said that Cannibal Corpse was Jim's favourite band, hence why they were in the film. But Metal Injection put the rumours to rest when they found out that Jim doesn't even like death metal. He had never heard of Cannibal Corpse. So that's put that to rest. Stanley Ipkiss in The Mask, another hard hitter in 1994. Same year, Carrey was paid $450,000 for his work in the film. A huge bargain for New Line because the deal was signed before Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, which he got $7 million for. Director Chuck Russell, known for I Am Wrath, The Scorpion King, and The Blob, and The Nightmare on Elm Street 3. The cast: Jim Carrey, Cameron Diaz, Ben Stein, Richard Jeni, Peter Green. The scenes: the improvised smacking himself in the face with a dog toy frisbee. Bring out the loner. The loner? The loner. Not the cheese, the keys. The keys. Jim Carrey turning into different animations, watching Tina's performance. We have The Mask versus the landlady, The Mask versus the clock. Look, Ma, I'm roadkill. Ha ha ha. That's right, Wendy. We all wear masks. Metaphorically speaking. The balloon animal part. Sorry, son, wrong pocket. The Oscar performance. Hold me closer, Ed. It's getting kind of dark. And of course, smoking. It's party time. P-A-R-T-Y. 'Cause I gotta. This is my childhood. This scene always wakes me up, slaps me across the face, and everyone loves it. Whether you're 3, 33, or 63, you'll enjoy it. It's The Mask. Hold on to your lug nuts. It's time for an overhaul. Cuban Pete, You have to love Cuban Pete. You have to, it's physically impossible. Scientists have proven that no one out there does not like Cuban Pete. I love this movie. It's safe to say, as you know. Dumb and Dumber, Lloyd Christmas, 1994. That year keeps coming up again. Director Farrelly Brothers, known for There's Something About Mary, Me, Myself and Irene, Hall Pass, Shallow Hal, Kingpin. Lots and lots and lots of movies. The cast: Jim Carrey, Jeff Daniels, Lauren Holly, oh God, Robin Moran. From the opening credits with the dog van, mutt cuts, the song Boom Shakalaka. What if he shot you in the face? Harry getting his tongue stuck. It's okay, I'm a limo driver. The pee scene, the kung fu fighting in the restaurant, the sea bass prank, toilet scene with Harry. Oh, you gotta love it. I personally love the second glove scene as well. He had an extra pair of gloves this whole time. Yeah, we're in the Rockies. I'm gonna kill you, Lloyd. People love the pirate scene as well. The hot sauce, but the best has to be the most annoying sound in the world. You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
And Mockingbird, the Mockingbird song. As you know, the most annoying sound in the world was improvised, but that scene altogether is simply brilliant. Jim Carrey actually chipped his tooth and kept it for the character. Here's one for you. This will get you. The sea bass prank, where they get him to pay the bill. This is actually true. The movie they take it from, the prank, is called Something Wild, and it stars Jeff Daniels. How mad is that? It's hard to get your head around. A year after, we got Jim playing the Riddler in Batman Forever, 1995, a critically panned movie by Joel Schumacher. He's one of the only good things we get in the film. 1995 also brought us a sequel to Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls. Carrey doesn't often do sequels, so it's a kind of a big deal. I have a confession to make. I can't actually watch the opening to the film. It's just too sad for me. I have to skip it every time. I can't watch it. It's just too heartbreaking. Lots of awesome scenes we have in this one. The most famous being, it's the Monopoly guy. He's an activist. He's an activist. Hi-ho, Silver, away! The shadow scene. Everyone loves a slinky. Chicago. Shikabab. Shawshank Redemption. Chicago, you're out of there. What a lovely room of death. But you have to talk about the rhino scene. Oh my dear God. I remember watching this for the first time when I was a kid and just losing my mind. Well, first of all, I lost my mind with claustrophobia because it's quite a claustrophobic scene. But then just being bowled over, laughing so much when he tries to get out the rhino and the family pulls up in their car. It's just, it's one of the best. It's just the best. Synopsis. Ace Ventura, pet detective, returns from a spiritual quest to investigate the disappearance of a rare white bat, the sacred animal of a tribe in Africa. The added cast is Ian McNeice, Siren Callow, Bob Gunton from Shawshank Redemption. Strangely enough. Next. Cable Guy. Cable Guy. 1996. This film will always make me sing Don't You Want Somebody to Love by Jefferson Airplane. Jim Carrey does an awesome rendition because he's got the singing ability, as we know. Directed by the one and only Ben Stiller, who also plays killer twins in the film. A lonely and disturbed cable guy raised on television just wants a new friend, but his target, a designer, rejects him with bad consequences. He plays a dark character in this. It's truly dark. Until, spoilers at the end, Favourite scenes are the medieval battle with Matthew Broderick character. He's doing the theme tune, they're fighting. The prostitute scene. he buys him a prostitute. Jim Carrey owns every part of the film. He's got a lisp. His crazy ways, how he conducts himself, it's just great. Really, really enjoyable film. All-star cast, like I said, Jim Carrey, Ben Stiller, Matthew Broderick, Leslie Mann, Jack Black, Owen Wilson. These are the big guns. The part of the cable guy was originally written for Chris Farley, but scheduling conflicts forced him to decline the role. The film was actually far from a box office bomb, still earning $100 million in profit worldwide. 1997 brought us Liar Liar, with Fletcher, Audrey, another favourite of mine as a child. You have to love the claw. The boy must grow to be a warrior. I can pretty much recite to you the whole movie, but I won't do that here. I'll let you know my favourite scenes. I have to mention the fast-talking traffic violations. That is just spellbinding how he does all that and rattles that all off. The roast scene. I love a good roast. The elevator scene. Well, that's because you got big jugs. Do you want to play hardball? I'm game. Beating himself up in the toilet. The pen is blue. The goddamn pen is blue. Another classic one of mine. Stop breaking the law, asshole. But the one I often recite, and I actually don't need anything for this. I can just recite this randomly because it's a great line. He's a pedantic, pontificating, pretentious bastard, a belligerent old fart, a worthless steaming pile of cow dung, figuratively speaking. That last one is, again, my personal favourite. We have the outtakes too. You can't get any better outtakes in a film than the ones in Liar Liar. If you have any, do comment and tell me, because I don't think there's any that beat Liar Liar, the outtakes. A goose. According to an interview with Jim Carrey, he says that the gag of Fletcher chasing his son as the claw was something Carrey's father did to him and his siblings. How sweet is that? That's such a sweet, sweet thing. So he took it from his dad, really, the claw. He was Truman Burbank in The Truman Show in 1998. Another fantastic one, which we all thought from, one time or another. What if there's a TV show about me and everyone's in on it? Everyone's playing their part. An insurance salesman discovers his entire life is actually a television show. Good morning. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Great cast. We have director Peter Weir, who directed another one of my favourites, Dead Poets Society. In an interview, director Peter Weir stated he wanted to have cameras installed in every theatre the film was shown in, having the projectionist at one point cut the power, cut to the viewers, and then cut back to the movie. It's such a powerful movie, I urge you to watch it. Finally, a film I've never heard of, Simon Birch, 1998. Carrey plays grown-up Joe Wentworth. Jim played Andy Kaufman in Man on the Moon, 1999. Kaufman was an American entertainer. He disdained telling jokes and engaging in comedy as it was traditionally understood, referring to himself instead as a song and dance man. I'm not trying to be funny, he once said in an interview. I just want to play with their heads. A lot of people remember the scene with Jerry the King Lawler on Letterman and the slap. This film is directed by Milos Forman, who did the legendary One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Amadeus, and The People vs. Larry Flint. Jim Carrey refused to be called by his real name during the entire production. To get into the part, he insisted on being dealt with as Andy Kaufman at all times, on and off the set. Me, Myself and Irene was released in 2000. Charlie has advanced delusional schizophrenia with involuntary narcissistic rage, but he's a very gentle person. One of the greats again, so many memorable scenes. Some that stick out on my mind are price check on Fagiclean, aisle 5. That's Fagiclean. We've got a customer down here with a full-on fallopian fungus. She's baking a loaf of bread and I think it's sourdough. Another one is the scene where he takes his pills and gets cotton mouth. Does your ass feel numb from the ride? Oh, over the years my ass has taken a pounding. Charlie versus Tony Cox, the limo driver. Pretty much any Hank scene. We have the dildo scene. What's wrong? Hanky Panky wasn't good enough for you, huh? It wasn't for me. The tarantula scene. We must talk about the music. Such a phenomenal display of music. Really great tracks in this one. The cast: Renée Zellweger, Chris Cooper, Anthony Anderson. Such an enjoyable film. Same year, 2000, Jim got festive with the next one, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, from the Dr. Seuss book. He's an amazing Grinch. Do check out the cast as well and what they look like now, because it's been quite, it's been 17 years since the Grinch. In 2001, In Living Colour ended, which was sad because Carrey had a lot of great characters. My favourite was Fire Marshal Bill. His face was just a picture. TV Angelist, the gym instructor. Can't beat him. In 2001, he played an up-and-coming young screenwriter in Hollywood in The Majestic, but that wasn't as popular as Bruce Almighty, as Bruce Nolan, teaching everyone to spell B-E-A-U-tiful, beautiful. His impressions in this are just simply brilliant. The storyline is fantastic. Is there a greater god than Morgan Freeman? I'm Morgan Freeman. Most famous scene, which is the newscast interruption with Steve Carell, which we have to show a clip from. Here it is, because I need to show it. I need to show it to you. The scenes when he has the god powers and Snap is playing, I've got the power, and he's doing everything. It's great. The six-finger scene on one hand, and my personal favourite, the Great Falls. It's like the Great Falls is the bedrock of my life, eroding beneath me. Eroding. Excuse me, can I have a spur? Making Jennifer Aniston's boobs bigger. Wonderful, wonderful movie. You can visit the house as well from the movie at Universal Studios in LA. He was Joel Barish in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, 2004, alongside the beautiful Kate Winslet. When the relationship turns sour, a couple undergoes a procedure to have each other erased from their memories, but it is only through the process of loss that they discover what they had to begin with. During the train scene, Kate Winslet punches Jim Carrey. This was not staged or planned, and Carrey's response is that of genuine surprise. Kirsten Dunst, Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood, Tom Wilkinson, David Cross also make an appearance in this. But you gotta love Kate Winslet. Kate Winslet, she's just a babe. A series of unfortunate events, 2004, when a massive fire kills their parents. 3 children are delivered to the custody of cousin and stage actor Count Olaf, who is secretly plotting to steal their parents' vast fortune. Jim plays Count Olaf, a character that was based on the vampire Count Olaf in Nosferatu, 1922. Jim Carrey was very excited at the opportunity of working with Bill Connolly, and even more excited at the opportunity of working with Meryl Streep. Billy Connolly, such a funny man. Do check out his prostate exam. I was in tears watching that, so you might like it as well. If you love Jim's antics, you'll enjoy this film a lot. Fun with Dick and Jane, 2004, Dick Harper. When an affluent couple lose all their money following a series of blunders, they turn to a life of crime to make ends meet. Great cast, big fan of Alec Baldwin, the best of the Baldwins, Richard Jenkins, John Michael Higgins, who's hilarious. Now, the number 23, 2007, lots to talk about here. People say it's Jim's first serious role. Well, as we know, it's not. He's been in The Truman Show, Once Bitten, High Strung, Cable Guy, all showing his impressive serious role acting. I enjoyed the film. I loved the twist as well. This isn't even Carrey's first horror film, as we know as well. The idea is fantastic, having such a prominent number like 23 being everywhere when you do the maths. Jim Carrey tries his voice acting chops again in Dr. Seuss's Horton Hears a Who in 2008. We hear Journey playing Separate Ways, and we enter Yes Man. Hilarious film, the characters are fantastic, lots to talk about with this too. Like I mentioned, the music is incredible. We even have Jim singing again. We know he likes to do that in movies. I got blisters on me fingers. We have Aussie comic Norman, Rhys Darby in scenes with Broseph. His Harry Potter scenes. We have the old lady scene. The plot. A guy challenges himself to say yes to everything for an entire year. It's an uplifting film, ultimately. We got Zooey Deschanel, Bradley Cooper bringing it too. Sellotape face scene shows you Carrey hasn't lost it at all. The Red Bull scene, the fight scene when he punches the wrong guy. Hey, you got the wrong guy. Maybe you should start being the right guy. 2009, I Love You, Philip Morris affected me a lot. And I'll explain this to you thusly. Now, Jim has been on my TV screen since I was very, very young. Since I was young. He remains an important figure in cinema and in my childhood. Now, seeing him in this with his scenes as he plays the homosexual Stephen Russell, you know what scenes I'm talking about. I'm sure you do. If you've watched the film, you'll know what scenes I'm talking about. And it changes you. You know, I used to look at it watching as a child, and it damn nearly destroys you. All in all, a great film to watch. His chemistry with Ewan McGregor is fantastic. A cop turns con man once he comes out of the closet. Once imprisoned, he meets the second love of his life, whom he'll stop at nothing to be with. Based on a true story, people definitely romantic. Another festive one here with A Christmas Carol, 2009. Another voice role for Carrey. He has many roles in this, but most notably Scrooge. The film gives great respect to the source material. The badass Robert Zemeckis directs. Robert Zemeckis. He appeared in an episode of The US Office in 2011, Search Committee, as the Finger Lakes guy. Mr. Popper's Penguins, 2011. The life of a businessman begins to change after he inherits 6 penguins. And as he transforms his apartment into a winter wonderland, his professional side starts to unravel. Another happy, uplifting one here. Mark Waters, who brought you Mean Girls and Freaky Friday, brought you this one. What attracted Jim Carrey to the role more than anything else was the chance to dance with penguins like his hero, Dick Van Dyke, did in Mary Poppins. Little spots in Drunk History, 30 Rock, before the incredible Burt Wonderstone, he plays the magician Steve Gray. The drilling scene, the card tricks, the red hot coal tricks are worth a watch on YouTube. He's back with Steve Carell and shares the screen with lots of other famous faces. In 2013, he played Colonel Stars and Stripes, Kick-Ass 2, and Scott Riles in Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues. Jim Carrey's disapproved of the film's violence in Kick-Ass 2, as you may know. He reprised his role as Lloyd Christmas in Dumb and Dumber 2, 2014. 20 years since their first adventure, Lloyd and Harry go on a road trip to find Harry's newly discovered daughter, who was given up for adoption. We all wanted it. We finally got it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And 2 of the scenes that stick out on my mind are the phone call scenes when they ring each other's mobiles, and the practical joke that Lloyd plays when he goes to the mental home for like I don't know how many years, and just to pull a prank on Harry. 2 years after Dumb and Dumber 2, 2016 came along. He plays a good hermit in The Bad Batch. True Crime is his last picture at this current point in time. He plays Tadek, dubbed the last honest cop in Poland, who becomes obsessed with a cold case, the murder of a man known to a frequent bondage club. It's a big change from his early days, eh? If you watch the video from the start, you know it's a massive change. Jim Carrey seems to be doing what he likes and what he wants. He's cut down acting a bit. You know, hopefully he's in something this year. He's 55 in a week, January the 17th. So he's cut down acting. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like my Facebook page if you want to hear me on the radio, or you want to know what my next video is coming out, what movie specials I'll be doing in the future. I'll be honoured to have you as company on my movie specials. I do Wednesdays and Thursdays, so thank you so much for watching. Bless your cotton socks.